Cutie Pies. I am Lanikia, and you are watching What Happened on the Soaps. This is Days of Our Lives edition. Today is Monday, November the 13th, 2023. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this one. I'll let you decide in the comments. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. First of all, we see Jada and Rafe. So Jada is still at the hotel where Leo and Stark were, and she's coming to herself and everything. I guess they hit her in the head pretty hard because, she has like a migraine. It hurts. And so Rafe shows up and she says, "What are you doing here? You're supposed to be looking for Leo." He said, "I was only like a few blocks away." So he was close. So he decided to come here to check on her, and she said she's okay. She just can't believe they got the drop on her. And she also lets him know that the only reason she's still alive is because of Leo, because Dimitri was ready to take her out. And he tells her, "Well, I have police detectives. They're working on finding all of them." I said, "Where's Harris?" They said they're working on finding all of them, finding Leo and Dimitri. And she says, "No, you should be there out in the field." And he says, "Jada, I'm taking you to the hospital." And she tells him she can walk, child. She's falling down. I said, "Jada, go to the hospital. We don't have time for you." And then she about to fall down. And he grabs her and they having like this connection. Okay, listen. Not today. It's not about you two today. Let's move on. So, anyways, from there, we go to Nicole being on the phone with EJ. And so she's talking to EJ on the phone, and she's telling him, I'm coming home to you. And, she's appreciative of him, right? Because she realized she can't have Eric. So she's just like, "I'm going to be all in with EJ." And so that's really what the phone call was about when she was calling EJ. Of course, he was trying to find out where she was, but on her end, it was just like, okay, I'm going to make this work. So it's when she's talking to him, all of a sudden she's like, "EJ, oh my gosh." And you hear this wreck, right? So then he's trying to call her back. He's like, "Nicole," and he can't reach her. And that's when Holly comes in and she's like, what's going on with my mom?" And so he didn't want to tell her at first, but he went ahead and told her that Nicole itself was on the phone with him, and it sounds like she got into an accident. And she was like, "Oh my gosh." And he said, "Don't worry, I'm gonna go look for her. You stay here." Excuse me, "You stay here and I'm going to go out here and I'm going to find her." And so that's what he does. And so then we see that he arrives at the hospital because he sees Rafe. Now, Rafe has gotten Jada to the hospital. She's in the room getting examined and everything. And so when that happens, excuse me, the next thing we see is EJ, Rafe is on the phone getting updates, and they're telling him that someone is looking for him. And he says, "Oh, never mind, I see him now," because it was EJ that was looking for him. And EJ is like, "Rafe, Nicole, it's about Nicole. Nicole has been into an accident. It has been in an accident." So of course, EJ was like, excuse me, Rafe tells him, "I'm going to go ahead and put more units on the field to look for this." And EJ is like, That's all you're going to do?" He was like, "We're stretched thin." I said, "Y'all are always stretched thin." They are. They are always stretched thin in this department. He said, "We have Dimitri and Leo on the loose. I have a detective that's, been clocked." And I said, "Well, Rafe, you really could be out into the field because there is nothing you can do for Jada." I'm just saying. But EJ doesn't want to hear this. So he was like, "Oh, you're just so pathetic." And Rafe tells him, "I don't have time to deal with this right now." So then we see Tate and Eric speaking, right? They're at the pub, and Tate tells Eric, excuse me, "I hear congratulations are in order. You married Sloan." And he said, "Yes, and we're even getting a baby." And he was like, "Oh my gosh, let me know when I can meet the little guy." He tells him it's gonna be a boy and all that. He was like, "Let me know when I can meet the little guy." And they're super ecstatic and excited, right? So then the next thing you see is Holly comes running in, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, it's," and they're like, "Holly, are you okay?" Because Eric was about to leave, but she holds him up because she runs in and tells them that her mom is missing. So they're like, "What?" And so she tells them the whole story about Nicole being on the phone with EJ, and it sounds like she had a wreck, and so EJ is out looking for her. She said, but there's 5 different routes. There was 5 different ways to get to the mansion, and he doesn't know which one. I said, quiet as kept. EJ not really looking for this girl. But anyways, so Tate was like, oh my gosh, I'm sure he'll find her. And they were like, they don't. Eric was like, well, he'll go looking and searching too, because he cares about Nicole. And Tate says, that's a bummer because my dad made me put phone locator in. And that reminds Holly that her mom made her do that too. But in order to do that, she also met Holly said, I'm not gonna put phone locator, phone tracker on my phone unless you do it too. So because of that, Holly was able to find out exactly where Nicole was. I said, okay, so y'all call the police and tell the police. They didn't. Eric just says, I'm going to go out there and search. So then Holly and Tate make it back to the DeMera mansion because, they need to wait on a phone call just in case Nicole calls. And he's there just to comfort her. Now, when you do phone locator, if your phone is off or something, it could still work. I don't use that, so I didn't know. Anyways, let's move on. So then we see now let's step back into what exactly went down. So Dimitri and Leo are driving. They're trying to get to the submarine because remember, Rolf is going to take them out of the country and they don't have to worry about going to prison. So as they're trying to get there, Dimitri's going too fast. And Leo keeps trying to tell him, you need to slow down. You need to slow down. You're moving too fast. And he's not listening to him. And then Leo's like, Dimitri, you're going into the other lane. Now, when he does this, he runs Nicole off the road. And so they don't know it's Nicole at this point. They just know he ran someone off the road. Dimitri is wanting to keep going, but Leo is like, no, because Leo, people say a lot about Leo, but he's not all bad. So Leo's like, no, we cannot just leave someone like this. We have to help them. So he tells him, like, let's get out and look. So they look and they realize who it is, and they're like, okay. They hear Nicole moaning. They were like, okay, so she's alive. Let's go. Demetrius like, let's go. And Leo was like, she's pregnant. We can't leave her like this. So Nicole gets out, right? Hold on, excuse me. So Nicole gets out of the car. And they move her to the ground, and they're concerned because she's very pregnant and she's moaning. But when she comes to herself, she was like, you two idiots ran me off the road. And they were like, we're sorry. And so Dimitri was like, okay, she's alive. She's fine. Let's go. And Leo was like, she's pregnant. And then she's like, oh my gosh, the baby. And they're like, what is it? Where are you hurting, Nicole? And she said, it's the baby. The baby is coming. And so this whole scene right here was funny because Leo is going to be Leo. He is going to be Leo. Dimitri was like, oh my gosh, we got to go. But Leo was like, we can't leave her. And she tells Leo, I'm about to have this baby. One of y'all are going to have to deliver the baby. And he at this point, Leo is holding Nicole's hand and telling her to breathe and stuff and everything. So he tells Dimitri, you have to do it. Dimitri said, I'm not doing this. I didn't want to stay in the first place. Like I said, you was going to leave Nicole on her own. He said, I didn't want to stay in the first place. So anyways, they go to Jada's car because you remember that's whose car they were in. They stole. And she has everything. Leo said Jada's car is a rolling Walmart. That's how mine is. I've always been like that, even before Mila. Like I kept extra stuff, like I don't know, toilet paper, blankets, a pillow. I just keep extra water. I just keep extra stuff, even though they say you're really not supposed to do water. I said, but if push come to shove, I'm gonna need a bottle of water. So I just keep extra stuff in my car all the time, just in case anything happens. And so he's just like, thank gosh. So they were able to get her a blanket and everything. And so she's like, okay, the baby's coming. One of y'all has to get down there. And so Leo was like, okay, I'll do it. I'm just going to pretend I've been a doctor and I'm used to doing this. Like he went all inside of his head to prepare himself mentally to do this. So Nicole was like, somebody's got to catch the baby. And so Leo gets down there and he says, okay, Nicole, I need you to push. And so she pushes and she delivers the baby. And so they wrap it up because Nicole had just been shopping. So she had something for the baby to have. And so they, put the baby in the clothes and wrap the baby up and everything. And Dimitri is like, okay, we got to leave. And Leo says, once again, Leo says, no, we cannot leave her and this baby out here like this. And Nicole said, I have to get to the hospital. And they say we can't move you, Nicole, because we don't know what's wrong. Like something could be wrong with you. You had a wreck. Now you've given birth. Your body can't be moved. And so Leo tells Nicole, what you're going to have to do is Dimitri, is going to have to take the baby to the hospital. And Dimitri is like, oh, what? And Leo said, I can't do it because I would be too nervous and afraid. And with this precious cargo, my nerves would be too bad to drive with the baby. You would be okay. You can do this. So you have to do it, Dimitri. You have to get this baby to safety, and then we can go. And Dimitri is like, the submarine. And he's like, well, we don't want to add, what's happening to Nicole, if something happens to Nicole and the baby to that. And so Dimitri is like, fine. And so Leo turns back to Nicole and he says, Nicole, I'm right. You can't move and we have to get this baby. And he tells her, I give you my word that, and she was like, your word. And he was like, I know it doesn't mean much, but I really care about this baby. Like having been here to help birth him, I care about this baby and I don't want any hospital, and you will soon have your baby back in your arms. And so she's like, okay. Because she knows he's right. They have to get the baby checked out because he's premature. And so she lets the baby go. Y'all, I don't know why, but that was a very emotional scene and I really enjoyed it. I loved it. I loved the acting that they did in that scene. But let's move on because EJ is still at the hospital and Rafe comes out after talking to Jada. And it turns out Jada's injury was worse than what it was supposed to be. So they wanted to keep her and run a scan and everything on her, right? So when Rafe comes out, Dimitri is like, excuse me, EJ is like, well, what have you done? And he says, EJ, we have our people looking onto this. And he says, as, the DA, I expect you to do more. And Rafe is just like, there's nothing. I'm concerned about Nicole too. I want her safe. He says, oh no, you're just concerned about, all you care about is Gabby and her getting off. And so he and Rafe and EJ start going at it. And it was at that moment that Rafe had enough. And he tells him, I have a detective that had a, pow pow held to her head. And if I see Voight Leuschner, he's going to definitely pay for this. Unfortunately, that was the moment that Dimitri came in with the baby into the hospital. He was going to get the baby checked, not on the floor, but somewhere in the hospital where somebody would come through and find. Well, I guess that would be even more dangerous. I don't know, child, but I say you just gonna leave with the baby? All right now. So he just left. I said, this baby is needing some medical attention. So he just left because he hears this. And anyways, they end up arguing some more, EJ and Rafe. And EJ was like, oh, you're just so useless. And he leaves. So then Nicole is with Leo and he says, Nicole, you're going to be okay. We're going to get you some help. And you're going to be with your baby. And so she and Leo are, doing that little bonding thing or whatever. And then Eric comes up. And when Eric comes up, they were like, what were y'all together? Whose car were you in? And because I don't see another car. And they say, Leo was like, oh, I have something else to do. And so he just takes off, right? So Leo he would be in trouble. But she does tell Eric, like, listen, Eric, something happened. And he says, what happened? And she said, I delivered the baby. And he says, okay, then where's the baby? And so then Nicole is just looking around. And I said, she was looking around like she didn't know. And I was like, it's like, what's going on? And maybe she's just like, maybe she's saying, well, Dimitri should have been back by now. I don't know, but she was looking confused. Anyway, so Leo ran away and now he's waiting on Dimitri. And Jada has left the hospital because when Rafe went back in to check on Jada, she was gone. And he was like, where did you go? And she's at the, they run into each other at that little park intersection. excuse me, that's where Leo was waiting on Dimitri, and he runs into Jada, and she was like, because Leo's like, where is Dimitri? And she's like, that's what I would like to know. And so I don't know how this is going to turn out, because y'all know they just told us that something is wrong with Jada as far as like head wise, because I guess he hit her really hard. So I don't know if Leo and Dimitri are going to escape or not. I don't know how this is all going to turn out, but I'm invested, y'all. Anyways, let's move on. So then we see Sloan and Melinda. So Sloan and Melinda are talking, and she's like, what do you mean the baby, this didn't work out with the baby? And she says, listen, Sloan, it just didn't work out. And Sloan was like, no, I need answers. The mother research found out who the baby was going to. And she said, I thought we agreed to keep it all anonymous. And she said, well, we did, but the mother insisted that she know. And when she Googled you, like, she ain't like your history, your past. And Sloan is like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? And she said, Sloan, we could just tell Eric that the mother decided to keep the baby and we can just leave it at that. And she says, no, Melinda, I'm running out of time. He wants a child. And she said, and at this point, he has a child, excuse me, with Nicole. So I need to tell him. And Melinda said, girl, what? You do not want to tell this man that Nicole is having his baby. He is going to leave you. And in Sloan's mind, she's like, no, he won't. And I said, girl, yes, he is. He don't want you like that. And Eric really doesn't. He's settling for Sloan. That's really what he's doing. He's just settling for her. And so Melinda's like, girl, if you tell this man that baby is that Nicole is carrying is his, he is going to leave you. They are going to get back together. She's like, no, we're married now, and Nicole is with EJ. And Melinda said, that doesn't matter. Like, none of that matters. Sloan, you have to think this through. And Sloan says, I can't do this anymore. She was like, I have done this into the ground. All of the lying and manipulation and everything. I got pregnant just to keep him. Then I lost the baby. Then I'm running around switching up DNA test results, and I'm just lying to him. It's too much. She wants to unburden herself. She was like, I cannot sleep at night. And Sloan has been having nightmares, and so she was like, I have to tell this man what is going on with this baby, because he wants to be a father and he deserves to know. And so she's like, I'm leaving. I'm going to tell him. So Sloan gets her purse and she heads to the door. I don't know what's about to happen. But I tell you one thing, I am invested. I am invested in this storyline. But y'all tell me what you think. That's all I have for you guys today. Sorry, my throat is the pollen is so high, and I went out this weekend. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe, be blessed. And I will see you tomorrow for an all-new episode of What Happened on the Soaps, Days of Our Lives edition. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.